This is the CUSA way. Watch us be competitive, unique, strong, and athletic. We're driven. We're passionate. We're champions. This is the CUSA way.
For 25 years, Conference USA student athletes have done things the only way that we know how, the CUSA way. In that quarter of a century, we've learned a thing or two about winning, both on and off the field. Our student athletes are more than just great athletes. They're fantastic students, and they're outstanding citizens who give back to their communities. We're committed to excellence. We are stronger together. That's the CUSA way.
October brought with it the beginning of a three-game homestand, and as Hardtime made his way down the sidelines to get FIU back on track, it set the tone for a meaningful stretch of the season. Minutemen aside, homecoming became a ground assault. 350 yards of big men blocking and 100-yard gains from a pair of trusty vets. With the Miners in down, Captain Morgan was still hitting number 19 in the corner of the end zone. The friendly confines of the cage saw folks filing out post-game with a smile and some confidence in their Panthers' next matchup in Murfreesboro. Here on the campus of FIU, we're set for another edition of Panther Talk Live. The defense Saturday, breaking up pass after pass, all helping put together win number 4. Monday mornings being your AM coffee, getting back to work and pulling up Facebook Live for Panther Talk Live from the GC. We welcome you in on the campus of FIU. Another edition on another Monday morning. Good morning to you in good spirits. AJ Ricketts, Butch Davis, another business-like performance coach, 3 in a row. A nice little homestand for you guys as we get set to hit the road. Have to like what the team was able to do Saturday.
Yeah, you know, AJ, obviously, this whole last 4 weeks has been really a good month for our football team.
Yeah.
I think the open date, the kids made just an unbelievable commitment to, like, we're going to do everything we can to prepare to be the best team that we can be on Saturday. And the work during Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is paid off on Saturdays. This past weekend, obviously, there were some good things that happened during the course of the game. There were a few things that were a little bit similar to some of the things where we shot ourselves in the foot early in the season, and we got to take those things out of the game. I mean, obviously, we got off to a good start, and the interception by Dorian Hall, you just would have loved for that, because you want to talk about the electricity on the sideline. If that touchdown would have stood.
Back-to-back picks,
back-to-back picks, and but the other part of it, is finishing the drives. I mean, I love what Jose Borregales has done the last couple of weeks. I mean, in this game, he was 5 of 7 on touchbacks on kickoffs, which is really, really good. 3 for 3 on field goals, 3 for 3 on extra points. So that part of it. But you want to finish those drives. I love it when he makes a 42, 43-yard field goal. But when you get down inside, you got 1st and 10 at the 20. You need to put 7 points, because eventually, if you're not careful, that's going to come back to haunt you. I thought our defense did a good job of trying to neutralize Mosley, the quarterback, and all of his runs, and try to make it one-dimensional and try to keep him in the pocket and stuff. And so for the most part, AJ, it was a good kind of a team win, but it wasn't probably one of the best performances that we've had the last couple of weeks.
Well, this game's certainly bound to happen throughout the course of the season. May not be pretty, but get the win nonetheless.
That's exactly right.
It reminded me, Coach, of the Rice game last year. A team trying to win the time of possession battle, really just to limit possessions on our end, making every possession for us that much more critical.
We actually went into the game, and Rich Krosky was, he was talking to the offense about, look, it's going to be limited number of possessions, because they're one of the few teams that actually huddle, and they try to burn the clock and milk it down, snap the ball with 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and minimize how many opportunities that the offense gets, and then run the ball, and keep it close. And in some respects, I give Dana Bible a lot of credit, because he's a good football coach, and their staff is doing a good job, and they're trying to build the program and make it better. And what you want to do with that game plan is, it's kind of like the Muhammad Ali, the rope-a-dope. Keep it close, and then try to win in the 15th around.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they've tried to do against some really good teams is keep it close, keep it to a 3, a 7, a 10-point margin. Now all of a sudden it's the fourth quarter. You got 15 minutes. Now let's see if we can't win and the other team make a mistake. And that's why, thank God, James Morgan, perfect, no interceptions, no fumbles. We won the turnover manager for again.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, it was really good.
Yeah, in the early going, maybe that plan had some for first quarter. I think it was 7-3 after that, but a couple touchdowns, Jose being perfect.
Sure.
That all helped. Let's talk about the offense a little bit. Again, Anthony Jones, another 100-yard game, 3 straight. And I'm really curious about your impressions of the ground attack, because a lot of those yards did come in the fourth quarter. Here's a nice play in the third. Let's talk about this play.
Look at Sterling Palmer downfield. Look at Kamaran Williams downfield, and look at Devontae Price. 3 great players giving phenomenal effort down there that got it down to the 2-yard line. At the end of the quarter, it flipped over and Anthony scored in. But then this was a big play in the game. We got a 15-point lead. You feel comfortable, but now all of a sudden, you get an explosive big play, and that's kind of what Anthony's been bringing. I mean, almost every game that we've played, all the way back to the bowl game, he has had some big explosive runs. He's got great vision. He's got speed. You can see him getting down there. But again, getting our ball carriers into the second level. And look at Austin Maloney. I mean, guys, right there with when they give great effort, you got a chance to have a good offense.
And the guy that he made fall over and then jumped over, that was the leading tackler for UTEP.
Exactly.
He got into the secondary. We talked those explosive plays. You take us through those plays right there. Were you happy with the ground game? I know the majority of yardage was fourth quarter, but what were your impressions?
I thought it was inconsistent. Okay.
Yeah.
When you looked at it, and a lot of it was, I mean, we knew coming in, when you rush for 350 yards, they're going to pack the box.
Sure.
I mean, they were not going to let us just rip them in the running game. And so obviously, we had some success in the running game. I think we ended up with like 187 yards rushing for the night.
Yep.
But you knew that they were going to have a 7-man box, an 8-man box, a 9-man box, get the safeties down there and try to, to neutralize the running game and put a little bit more pressure on the passing game. And some of the passing game, I mean, we had some great big explosive plays. Austin Maloney was deep, and it looked like he was going to get a 60, 70, 80-yard, catch, and, they made a good play on it, so you lose that opportunity. But it was, I would just say at best, a lot of it was inconsistent from the standpoint of the amount of guys that were in the box.
Well, let's flip the field here, talk defense, and I want to spotlight a sequence in the third quarter with Alexi Jude-Baptiste. I know we talked a lot about his story, his journey to FIU last week. This South Florida guy, he trains from Arkansas. How about this possession, Coach? First, he gets the sack on a 1st and 15. So he's already sent them back a mile. They're snapping the ball from Broward County on 2nd down. And then he makes another big play. It's 2nd and 28 here, all right? Just getting right back by the fullback, and then he's going to make the tackle on 3rd down. That drive was dominated by him.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you love about him is that he has instincts. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you got to make defensive calls to put them on the ball. Then there's the guys that you can just say that, hey, they can read, diagnose, they see the blocking scheme, and they know immediately it's not going to be a handoff. I can go ahead and take the quarterback.
Yeah.
And, you love having him as an addition to this program. He's really playing well.
And he gets off the block so well, and that anticipation, as you noted, the gut instinct has been terrific. You look at the defensive effort for FIU. I think 8 tackles for loss, 3 sacks in this game, and Tevin Jones stepped up as well in the linebacking spots. Without Sage Lewis in there, he was ready for his moment.
And this is one of the things from a coaching perspective, AJ, that I actually truly really love. I love when guys that people don't know much about, and you hear coaches say this all the time, next man up, next man up. When somebody goes down, well, Sage had to go down. Tevin comes into the game, had never started a game, and played middle linebacker. He was a defensive end in high school, comes in, grooms himself, goes into the game, has 10 tackles in the game, has done a good job, and, very, very proud of him.
Yeah, a representative of a great defensive effort. And the safety there, Swarmer into the football, really limiting Loxley throughout the game. You noted maybe not the player, but the scheme for him, kind of reminiscent of Lamar Jackson with Baltimore. Loxley ended up 7 for 12, 117 yards. Brandon Jones didn't have much success either, 5 for 9 for 24 yards. So good effort from the defense. James Morgan now tied for 3rd in FIU history in touchdown passes with 34. Again, he hasn't been here with less than 2 years. It kind of speaks to perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's already in the top 3 of the charts. So final thing here before we go to break. I just want to spotlight Jose again because, you put him on kickoffs here for this game, and he came through. That's big moving forward. You love the field goals, the PATs, but
to have a guy that can make sure the opponent's going to be inside the 25, that's great too.
And I tell you what, he's worked at it.
Yeah.
One of the things, obviously, we had Sean Young last year and the year before in 2017 that handled almost all of the kickoffs. But one of the things that you want is that Jose, I really truly believe in 2 years he's going to have an opportunity to get an opportunity to make it in the National Football League. And for a National Football League teams, they want to look at the kicker. What all can he do? If he can only just kick extra points and field goals, that minimizes. But his ability on onside kicks, on kickoffs, can he kick it, directionally and do all these different kinds of things? And he has really, really good power with his leg.
Yeah.
He also has touch where he can do kicks that a lot of times the other team, they're not expecting those kinds of kicks, whether it's kicking it right or left or whatever he's doing. And so I'm very happy. He got off to just, it was a tough start.
Sure.
And I tell you, when you think about golfers and you think about kickers, there's a lot of stress and pressure. And all of a sudden, sometimes it gets in your mind that you miss one, then you try to make a tiny adjustment technique-wise, you miss another one, and then all of a sudden it kind of gets in your head and stuff. And I give him a lot of credit that he was able to regroup himself mentally and emotionally. And our team never lost confidence in him. And the coaching staff, he is a great kicker, and now we're seeing it.
And just before we go to break, to expand on that and the range of emotions of a kicker and how the highs and lows of it. I remember watching the end of practice during the early part of the season when he was going through those struggles, and practice ended, him nailing, I think, a 55-yard field goal. The team surrounding him, fired up, a great moment. You think, all right, he's back. And then he had another tough game. When as a kicker, you think, all right, I've got it going. And then game time comes. The stress level was very high for a kicker, but now he's got it going. The old Jose FIFA's back.
Absolutely. One of the things that I told him, AJ, was I said, let me just tell you something.
Yeah.
You can go back and look at Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, every great golfer. They've hit it in the lake before.
A lot, yeah.
They've hit it out of bounds. They've missed 3-foot and 4-foot putts. Yeah. So I said, look, don't let it destroy you. Just make sure your fundamentals and your technique is sound and it's good, and the good things will come.
Now, you never hit in the water, though, right?
Never. No, heck no.
Just the sand traps all the time.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Panther Talk Live is brought to you by Florida Lumber. For over 50 years, Florida Lumber has been servicing homeowners, handymen, and contractors. For more information, head to floridalumber.com. Florida Lumber, more than just lumber. All right, Middle Tennessee gave North Texas and Mason Fine all they could handle in Denton. The Eagles needed a field goal as time expired to survive. Rick Stockstill will always have his squad ready to go. Nobody's looking at that record. We're looking at Middle Tennessee when we return on Panther Talk Live.
Food is indeed the language of love. This one, she likes you. She likes your la lechonera, my friend. La lechonera is the spark of love. Your spark of love is powerful. Powerful indeed, my friend. La lechonera, the original mojo criollo. Obey the pig.
This is the CUSA way. Watch us be competitive, unique, strong, and athletic. We're driven. We're passionate. We're champions. This is the CUSA way.
For 25 years, Conference USA student athletes have done things the only way that we know how, the CUSA way. In that quarter of a century, we've learned a thing or two about winning, both on and off the field. Our student athletes are more than just great athletes. They're fantastic students, and they're outstanding citizens who give back to their communities. We're committed to excellence. We are stronger together. That's the CUSA way.
Taking a trip up to Murfreesboro this weekend. Johnny Floyd Stadium will be the site. NFL Network and 790 AM. The ticket's been a tough place to play for us in recent memory. Got a win over the Blue Raiders last year. Heading up to Tennessee this week in FIU in Middle Tennessee State. Let's take a look at the 2018 matchup. It was homecoming last year when we took on Middle Tennessee. In one of the most thrilling games of the season, Rick Stockstill had his son in at quarterback. Brent, who was such a great player, got injured early in that game. Jose set the school record at the end of the first half, giving the team a little bit of momentum going into the locker room. And you fast forward to the fourth quarter, needing a touchdown drive. Huge play to C.J. Ward, and one of the best touchdown drives of the year.
Yeah, I tell you what, and obviously great protection, kept the pocket open. CJ ran a great route, made a little double move on him like it was going to be a corner route, ran a post.
And how about that two-point conversion?
Yeah, and then the two-point conversion.
Mr. Quarterback right there.
Hard time coming back and finding Austin Maloney open in the end zone. Obviously, that's one of those things that they got to be sick of that they didn't plaster.
And Middle had a chance to tie with a field goal, but they had a chance to win it too until Olin Cushion became the hero.
I tell you what, that might have been the play of the year.
Yeah.
Especially defensively for Olin to do a great job reading the quarterback's eyes, break on the ball because they're knocking at the door, right there near the end of the game.
That's such a great moment for
Terrific
him.
play.
And again, last year was really the breakout season for Olin in the secondary, being a contributor.
Yep.
And that was a play that really symbolized, his emergence into the lineup and part of this FIU program. We're talking Middle Tennessee this weekend, 3:30 kickoff this time. Had a lot of 7 p.m.s this year. We're going a little bit earlier in the afternoon today, or this Saturday, I should say. 3:30 p.m. start. NFL Network, 7:90 a.m. the ticket. You look at Middle Tennessee. We said before the break, no one's looking at the record. Okay, they are 2-5, but they played another team that's had a tough schedule. I mean, they started the season with Michigan. They hosted Duke, and Duke's doing good things in the ACC. You look at Middle Tennessee, they swarm you defensively. They've got a great defensive line. Their secondary is veteran. And even though they don't have Brent Stockstill anymore, Astro O'Hara is starting to show he can do some things. A challenging team to go on the road against this weekend.
AJ, I never look at the record. I just watch the film and I look at the schemes and I look at how well coached they are. Rick Stockstill is one of the best coaches in college football. He's had a great success at Middle Tennessee. His kids are always going to be prepared. And one of the things that's a huge, gigantic challenge is they have more versatility of things that they do in all three phases of anybody that we play all year long.
Yeah.
You get ready for them from a defensive perspective, and they're in empty with 5 wide receivers. The next play, they may have 3 tight ends and a running back. All of the things that they do. The quarterbacks for the last 2 years, obviously his son was very, very mobile and could extend plays, get outside the pocket. They're doing that again this year. A quarterback with him running, making options, and he's really a good talent player. And they have speed at wide receiver. When you flip, here you can see the run after catch and stuff. And obviously this is against Marshall, and you know how fast the Marshall defenses usually are and stuff, and they can't chase the kid down. So, offensively they're explosive, and then on the defensive side of it, AJ, they've got really good veteran, experienced guys in the secondary. Those guys, and they've got they're bigger this year than they've probably ever been since we've played them the last 2 years in the defensive line. They're strong at the point of attack, and they've got excellent outside speed rushers. And the thing that you got to do is because, from a protection standpoint, the identification of who the potential rushers are, because they may have 4 down defensive linemen and 2 of them may drop into coverage, and all of a sudden here comes the outside linebacker and the strong safety in the corner. Let me tell you something, this film study this week is going to be a high priority.
You saw the tape right there, the win against Marshall, who just came down to Boca and beat FAU. And Western Kentucky's having success. This division right now, there's craziness all over. Let's look at Middle Tennessee's last game against North Texas. 33-30 the final scores. We take a look at the highlights. The game they very easily could have won. 33-30 the final score. You see Asher O'Hara. We saw O'Hara last year when he came in for Stockstill, and he was running successfully just like this. He was 16 for 32 on Saturday, 136 yards, nearly 100 rushing yards.
And almost 100, and he had about 75 in the first half. And North Texas really, they said, look, this guy's going to beat us if we don't start getting more people in the box. But obviously here you can see, their secondary, their experienced, their veteran guys, they know how to read your formations and stuff, and so you need to be exact in the way in which you try to run your routes in the passing attack.
There's the final field goal there. The guy you just saw the interception, they got vets. Javante Moffitt, it seems like he's been there forever. Ty Lee on the offensive side. Then again, O'Hara had Brent Stockstill to mentor him throughout the last couple of years, and going to be a tough challenge. And Chase Cunningham gets some time at quarterback too, so he may come in for a few packages. And they like to run the Wildcat. You got so much film to watch this.
This is the thing that you hate, AJ, in college football anymore. They give you 17 hours to get ready to play a game. 17 hours
That's it.
from Sunday to kickoff, and that includes weightlifting.
Yeah.
That includes practice. That includes watching video. It's like I'd like to have 34 hours. You know.
You're still wearing out the batteries on the remote for
No kidding.
in
Yeah,
the film room.
we're sending a lot of stuff on the iPads. Guys, take a look at this.
Yeah, bring your chargers. That's part of the
No
thing to
kidding.
remember. You're going to be watching a lot of film this week in Middle Tennessee. All right, when we come back, start to wrap things up. Top 5, as always. We take your Twitter questions. Good plays this past Saturday. We count down the top 5. I think Anthony Jones might be featured on that. So Rashard Dames, he gets another pick, his third of the season. We'll be back after this on Panther Talk Live.
Food is indeed the language of love. This one, she likes you. She likes your la lechonera, my friend. La lechonera is the spark of love. Your spark of love is powerful. Powerful indeed, my friend. La lechonera, the original mojo criollo. Obey the pig.
This is the CUSA way. Watch us be competitive, unique, strong, and athletic. We're driven. We're passionate. We're champions. This is the CUSA way.
For 25 years, Conference USA student athletes have done things the only way that we know how, the CUSA way. In that quarter of a century, we've learned a thing or two about winning, both on and off the field. Our student athletes are more than just great athletes. They're fantastic students, and they're outstanding citizens who give back to their communities. We're committed to excellence. We are stronger together. That's the CUSA way.
Coach, this is becoming a common theme as we wrap up the show, spotlighting the places to grab a bite on campus. This is the renovated Chili's here, just about 100 feet away.
How about that?
Hey, you celebrate a win here with an adult beverage, perhaps, maybe on the Monday morning. The renovated Chili's, great spot here on campus. As we wrap things up here on Panther Talk Live, Butch Davis, AJ Ricketts. All right, we're a show of the people. Let's take your Twitter questions. Got quite a few of them this week. Let's go. Let's see what we got. I think we start with Lucila Pineda on Twitter. All right, bring it up. There we go. All right. Pretty direct, pretty simple. Who'd you feel was the MVP of this past Saturday? Who stood out in your mind?
We gave a couple in all phases, but on special teams, our MVP obviously was Jose Borregales. On offense, it was Anthony Jones with a huge, gigantic running attack. On the defensive side, we felt like it was Alexi Baptiste with the sacks and the tackles for losses and stuff like that. Those were the three guys that we pretty much honored.
There you go. Yeah, 2.5 tackles for loss for Gene Baptiste. He has become a problem in the backfield for opposing teams. All right, next question. Here we go, number 2. What do we got? All right, simple question. Staying hungry after wins. Like we've talked about the theme of, you bounce back from a loss, bouncing back from wins, and the team's effort level and willingness to prepare.
Yeah, you know what, AJ, and that's a great question.
Yeah.
That one of the things that you do on Sunday is obviously you celebrate the victories if it's been a loss, but you fix the mistakes. You have to be upfront and you have to be honest with the players, how they played. Can they play better? Did they play the best that they can? And literally, I mean, it's got to literally be 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
It sounds like coach speak and stuff like that, but every Sunday we walk out of there and say our record is 0-0. It doesn't matter what happened. You can't control the past. Let's just get focused 100% and play the best we can for this week.
We've seen enough teams who have been favored heavily, and it just hasn't worked out that way.
You and I talked about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's every weekend. You look at Wisconsin. You think they'd like to play Illinois again tomorrow? I mean, here's a team that was absolutely terrible in the Big Ten, and they end up beating a number 4 team in the nation. So you better be prepared to play on Saturday.
Yeah, seen plenty of upsets all around. I think Vandy got a big win. You saw Georgia, South Carolina the other week. Vegas sometimes is wrong. Okay, moving along. Our next question here. familiar face, Jackie Morgan. Good to hear from you, man. It seems that's such a nice long stretch at home. Preparations for a road game after you had a 3-game stretch.
You know, it is. I mean, this is, we've taken some road trips early in the season, and one of the things, we're trying to impress the players. These are business trips. We're not going on vacation to go visit museums and art and do those kind of things.
No trips to Broadway this weekend.
No,
Nope.
yeah, exactly. We're going to go and, make sure that you're 100% focused and make sure that you've done all the preparation that you can during the course of the week, watching film. If you know the answers to the test, you can't wait for the test to come. When you don't know all the answers, you're like nervous as crazy. It's like, I don't know if I want to take this test or not.
Yeah.
So it's up to the coaches and the team to get prepared for a road trip.
Absolutely. All right, last question here as we move forward. Ahan Dahl contributing. All right, so Billy Gill, we'll let this keep rolling so we see Billy. He came in the booth this past Saturday for the Le Batard show, and he crushed it. There he is in the middle. Expert analysis. I think his best line was, "That Alexander kid can scoot." That sums it up. He's a pro.
Great observation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Kenny Kelly sweating because Billy might take his job. Joe Rose, got to get out here. Do you remember your first appearance on the ESPN sets, preparing for it, the execution of it? Remember the first time?
Yeah, nervous. And actually, I think the first time I was actually on TV was on the NFL Network.
Okay.
I'm on there with veterans. I'm on there with Mike Mayock, who's now the general manager, and Sterling Sharp, and you're like sweat going down your back. It's like, oh my God, there's no timeout. They can't turn this camera on. You're on live. It's like, don't make any mistakes.
Really trying to avoid a brain cramp.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's funny.
But Billy, it's good to have Billy here.
It was awesome, and we had a blast. We kept him in the booth. His wife was patiently waiting for the segment to end. Like, if you got to go, you got to go.
And you referenced Joe Rose. I invited Joe Rose now for 3 years.
To get out here.
I've seen him at Dolphin practices and talked to him a couple times on the radio and stuff. And I said, look, we'll send the Uber. We'll have some food for you. I keep thinking that maybe aliens have kidnapped him and taken him off the planet.
What you say is you're like an ex-girlfriend. You never call me back.
Exactly.
Joe, we want you out here. But it was great to have Billy in the booth this past weekend. I think he's on air right now on the Le Batard show. All right, let's take a look at the top 5 plays of the week. Again, love those helmets.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it again. All right,
sharp.
number 5, defense making plays early. The pick 6 would have been nice, but we'll take one on the first possession from Richard.
Yeah, I know it. I tell you what, and Dames has done a great job of being in the right place, and we keep telling our kids, you do this. The techniques and be where you're supposed to be, and good things will happen. Tip balls will come to you.
Yeah.
You'll be there to make breakups.
Tip drill's been working out well for us. Shamar Thornton again in the corner of the end zone, and James is going to find him.
How about that hole? I mean, there's a slight little hole there between the corner and the safety, and James, because he's got such a great arm, he can throw it in there, and he also hits the backside shoulder pad that takes the safety out of it.
Really, for number 3, this whole possession could have been a top play. We just limited it to this sack right here, causing problems
well, again, like I said, the instincts that he has to be able to diagnose, is it going to be the jet sweep? Is it going to be the inside run? Is the quarterback going to keep it? And really did a nice play.
They fooled our cameraman, but they did not fool Alexi Jean-Baptiste. Number 2, 61 yards. The play is great, the spin move, and the blocking.
And I love all the extra effort. Guys down the field, Sterling Palmer doing it, Kamarian Williams, and then you see Devontae Price come flying from all the way across the field. You got 3 guys 60 yards down the field, and Ant, you got to give him credit. Made the guy miss at the very moment.
Good to see Goo back, the goats. Goo the goat, good to see you back in town for a weekend. Had an off day, supporting the boys, and Anthony Jones making people fall down, and good things happen.
And you don't have a clicker, but you'd love to run that back and show the block that Shamar Thornton made as the ex-receiver to allow him to get to the sideline.
Yeah.
He pushes, you can see him right there, pushing the corner out, and now that gives him a gaping hole. Obviously, the offensive line gave him a great job right there and cut off all the backside pursuit. Very good play by Anthony.
Better late than never. That 4th quarter was a lot of fun to watch as he gets his 3rd straight 100-yard game. The first time he's done that in his career. Anthony Jones is in a rhythm, and the team is in a nice verve right now, but important to prep for this week as we look at Middle Tennessee as we wrap things up.
Yeah, I tell you what, and obviously yesterday, kids, you really start to emphasize on Sundays before we get done with the treatments and all the things and showing films. Our guys, they watch 30, 45 minutes of film on Middle Tennessee. Today's the players' day off, so we can funnel a lot of things on their iPad. They're going to classes, they're meeting with their tutors and stuff, but they'll get a chance to look. And then tomorrow we'll have at least the first and second down game plan in on Tuesday. We'll be able to start doing that stuff. But like I told you earlier, there's so many different things that Middle Tennessee does that it takes an awful lot of preparation just to make sure that you're confident about all your adjustments and all your alignments.
It's a tough place to go up and win, up in Johnny Rod Floyd Stadium. I know Brent Stockstill's not there, but Rick still is, and he's going to have the guys ready to go. Appreciate you joining us on Facebook Live. Coach, thanks as always.
Hey, Jay,
Team's
great.
looking good. Looking forward to this weekend. Thanks for joining us on Panther Talk Live. It's been a nice 3-game stretch at home, but time to take a flight out of Ricardo Silva and get up to Tennessee and get another job done on a business trip. Appreciate you joining us today. Let's make it a good week. Balls up, fan.